Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to our first workshop, a workshop for special needs children here at the Dorothy Jayne studio. Like many of you, I've been busy and I've been trying to fit this into my schedule. And my notes don't always look like I left them the last time. I've had help by other family members. I think we have a very nice workshop set up for you. We have some very interesting guests with us this evening. And I'd like to start with, well, I'll start with John McCoy over here. I ran into his daughter this morning, and she made a point of saying that he's in first position in the 38th legislative district for Washington State in the capital. And that includes Tulalip, Marysville, and parts of Everett. I ran into my friend and former office manager this morning, and she was with a friend, and the friend went on and on about John, what a great job he's been doing at the state legislature. Sitting next to John is my sister-in-law, Debbie. Debbie, if you could hold my notes for a minute, I can show you just how famous my sister-in-law was. The Everett Herald newspaper a couple days ago. Everett Community College gives its highest honor to two alumni. One was Tom Gaffney, who's longtime chairman of the board of directors of the Providence Regional Medical Center, Everett. And the other, right there, is my sister-in-law, Debbie, who's done all sorts of great things here as director of neighborhood and community services for the city of Everett. And I might add, she also has been wonderful within our family to help the special needs person in our family, my cousin Stevie. Okay? I'll give that to you. Thank you. We have also with us a speech therapist from Providence Children's Center. And her name is?
Diane Greiser.
Diane Greiser, and she's interacted with many of the children that you'll see here today. We have backstage, so to speak, Teddy Nolvins, who's been on Dancing with the Stars for a couple seasons. He flew out from New York today just to attend this workshop. And I think he's going to have some comments about this program. Who else? We have a student of Dorothy Jayne. Dorothy Jayne Wright, my mother. The special needs students from way back when is going to have a few things to say. We have my wife Olga, who I'll introduce in a little bit. Also, there's someone else from Providence. Maybe she could come up here so we could see her.
She's worked with the kids too.
You're in the shadows. I can't see you too well. Am I in the shadows, Rick, or can you see me? Okay. Rick, can you get the camera? Okay. And your name is?
Eileen Grimes. And I'm a doctor of physical therapy, yes.
A doctor of physical therapy. Oh, let's see.
And a doctor of speech therapy.
And a doctor of speech therapy. Okay. So they've joined Christy today. Christy is back there. You'll introduce her in a little while. We have others. We have Barbara Meadows' mom, as a nurse practitioner. And I think maybe I've included most. I hope I haven't left out anybody. We didn't aim for a large audience for this particular occasion. More interested in the quality of our presentation and the significance of our presentation. Now, this whole thing started, you're all sitting here today because of the power of one. And that's one little girl that wanted to dance, Jocelyn Meadows. And about a year ago, I called over to Christy Tipton at the Children's Center, and I said, Christy, what's doing there? You know, I've got this Christmas show coming up at the Civic Auditorium, a show I've been putting on for about 12 years. And I said, is there anything going on at the Children's Center that might be important to the Christmas show? She said, there's this one little girl that keeps asking her mom if she can dance. So she said, yeah, she keeps asking and asking and asking. And so I came to to know about Jocelyn Meadows and her mother, Barbara. And I could see this was going to be quite a challenge. That is, a challenge to put Jocelyn on the show. So what to do? Fortunately, I had met this very young, talented dancer, teacher, a fellow who worked in the studio for almost 2 years for Olga, the director of Olga's dance here at the Dorothy Jayne studio. But unfortunately, he just left for New York to teach in the studio Dance With Me, managed by some of the people that are in Dancing with the Stars TV. So I called him up and I explained that there's this little girl that wants to dance, a special girl, and could he help? And there's silence on the phone. And then he said, yeah, I think I can try to do that. So anyway, he started flying out here every weekend. Now, remember, he's working 40 hours a week in New York, and he's flying out here every weekend to teach Jocelyn. And then we decided we needed some special music. So through a virtuoso violinist and composer in Moscow, introduced to me by Olga, we found that this musician would write a special piece of music called Waltz for Jocelyn so that she could practice here in the studio with the music that was written and recorded for her in Moscow. And these lessons went on, and they were challenging. You'll hear more about just how challenging it was. But in the end, there was this wonderful presentation on the Christmas show at the Civic Auditorium, December 8, last year. And just so you can judge the success of this performance yourselves, I've asked Richard Eakes to show you that performance. By the way, Richard Eakes is a special guy around here, because Richard Eakes is the one that helped create this studio. He's the one that introduced me to Pacific Northwest Theater Associates, hence the lighting. He's the one that's part owner of Robert Lang Recording Studios in Seattle, where Hart recorded many other groups. And that's why we have our present sound system for music and so on. Rick, congratulations, Rick, thank you. So Rick is going to show you this piece that was part of our Christmas show. And remember the power of one. Remember, if it weren't for this little girl who has a special medical history, we wouldn't be here. Rick.
Are you ready for the Providence Got Talent? Are you ready for that? Well, that's in just a little while. You gotta be a little bit patient. Right now, I want to bring out Christy Timpson one more time out here. Come on out, Christy. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Okay, and why don't we, since this young lady's standing over here, we should introduce her so that she just wondering who she is. This is Jocelyn Meadows' mother, ladies and gentlemen. Give her a round of applause.
Her name's Barbara.
Barbara. So, Christy, tell me a little bit about the Children's Center.
Okay, the Children's Center is a place where we have pediatric physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech and language pathologists, and they are all very talented clinicians that work with our children, birth to 18 years of age,
wow,
who have special needs.
And how many people have you?
And this last year we served 1,200 families.
Wow, that sounds great, doesn't it? And is Jocelyn one of them?
Yes, Jocelyn is one of them, and she's a very special young lady.
Yeah, okay. And why don't you tell me a little bit more about, why don't we have her mother tell us about her?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Barbara?
Jocelyn had a non-accidental trauma when she was 14 months old and had repeated seizures, leaving her with only 45% of her brain after a hemispherectomy. And I was told she'd never walk, talk, do anything again. And she's been going to therapy at the Providence Center since a year old, for almost 8 years now, and to Seattle Children's, and she's gotten through and is now doing everything that they said she wouldn't.
Wow. She's a truly exceptional young lady. So, so there's, we're gonna actually, she's had a dream about dancing, correct?
Yes, sir. She's wanted to dance and said that it was her dream and asked me and asked me and asked me. So then I went to Christy and asked if there was some way to make it happen.
Okay, well, let's see what happened, okay? boy. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please. Oh my goodness, be still my heart. That is just so wonderful. You know, Christy, because of Jocelyn, there's something new going on at the center, is that correct?
Yeah, there is, Brian. There is going to be a new program, a dance therapy program for children with special needs through the Dorothy Jayne Foundation.
How about that? Isn't that great? All because of Jocelyn.
All because of Jocelyn. Yep.
Well, I have to say there's a couple of people that are very important in this whole thing. That's the program down at the Dorothy Jayne Foundation, and one of them is Olga Foraponova, who is Sanford Wright's wife. Let's have Olga come on out, and also Catherine Gallo, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I guess we lost Olga. How you doing?
Good, happy to be here.
You know, Catherine, I'm just going to tell everybody that you're dressed like that because you're a dancer. But more than that, she also is a neurosurgeon. Did you know that? How many neurosurgeons do we have here anyway? Seems like everybody in the place is a neurosurgeon. You know, Catherine, I wanted to be either a neurosurgeon or I wanted to be an astronaut. And when I actually failed kindergarten, they said I couldn't do it. So anyway, so tell me a little bit about your involvement in all of this.
Well, first of all, I'm a neurosurgeon from Eugene, Oregon, and been in practice there for many more years than I care to tell about. And for many years have had a subspecialty interest in pediatric neurosurgery and pediatric head injury. So this whole story is kind of a bit close to my heart and what I do for a living. More recently, though, I have another avocation as a ballroom dancer, and Olga is my coach.
Good coach.
The best in the world, absolutely. And recently, Olga and I and another very prominent dancer from New York, a fellow by the name of Jonathan Wilkins, many times U.S. champion international standard ballroom, have acquired a dance competition in San Francisco called the San Francisco Autumn Dance Classic every year in October. And we are here to invite all the children from your dance program for disabled kids to come to our competition this October to compete and to showcase this and every October. We'd love to have them, we'd love to feature them, and I think the Dorothy Jayne Foundation's gonna pay for that.
Wow, how about that? And so that you all know, the Dorothy Jayne Foundation, they're paying for it through contributions, right?
Absolutely.
In fact, we already have some, right?
Yes, we do. We have two donations to this fund. One is from the Sarver Better Living Products, and then the second one is from Steve Young, who is the owner of Maxie's Restaurant in Marysville. So that gets us off to a good start.
Give him a round of applause. Come on. Catherine, thank you so much. Looking forward to see you dance later. Thank you.
So we need to have Barbara and Jossie come back up.
Okay, can we get Barbara and give him a round of applause? She was spectacular, wasn't she? Jocelyn, before you leave, I have something very special I would like to give you, okay? This is a sterling silver case, and I'm going to read it to you, okay? It says, "Dear Jocelyn, your dream became a reality. Your courage is our inspiration. Your sparkle is our reward." And that's from Sanford Wright Jr., the producer of the show. That's yours. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you, everybody. Come on, give them another round of applause.
So we had a big success on December the 8th last year at the Christmas Spectacular at Everett Civic Auditorium. Most of you know our Master of Ceremonies, Brian Tracy, owns Ride the Ducks of Seattle, the third most important tourist adventure in the city. And before that, he was King 5 Evening Magazine. You saw Barbara. You saw Jocelyn. And you had a chance to see Artem Slavchenko from Moscow, who wrote this music and flew all the way out from Moscow to be part of that show. So, bottom line, 2 minutes of performance, 2 minutes of standing ovation. So we all thought we had something there. Jocelyn, her mom, Christy Tipton, Alexei, and myself. And the question was how to go on. Where do we go from there? And we were thinking that it might be a good idea to have classes for the special needs kids. But this involves a lot more challenges than just regular dance classes. In fact, these classes now are called Dance Lessons with Therapeutic Effect. And Christy, where's Christy? Christy, can you come over here, please? Christy can talk to you just a little bit about the challenges of establishing a dance program, like the one we have today, the one that we're showcasing in this workshop. Christy, was it easy?
No, it wasn't easy. We were given this opportunity, and before I start, I want to say, never has anyone come to the Children's Center and said, you know, we're going to make it available for children with special needs to have dance lessons every week. And his mandate to me was find the kids. And so, you know, I hemmed and I hawed, and I knew that Jocelyn loved to dance, and I went out to my absolutely fabulous clinicians, and I said, tell me, who do we serve that could benefit from this kind of an activity? And one of our philosophies at Children's Center is that kids need to be kids. We work really hard. We look like we're always playing, but we don't. We work really hard. And it's important that kids have the opportunities that other children have. And so when Sanford brought this, this prospect to me, I had a lot of doubts. I wasn't sure that it was going to be able to be, number one, funded. It's very expensive. We have families that, you know, certainly don't have the funds to be able to pay for private dance lessons. And so I said, well, let's try it as a group. And I took the kids that my therapist said would be interested, and there were like 35 on the list, and I knew we couldn't do 35. So I kind of looked at the ages and at the disabilities and at the motivation, and it was a hard job to try to select who could be the most successful in this kind of a program. And knowing that, you know, Alexei is good, and I really like Alexei, but it's really has to be one-on-one in support. So I picked 6 kiddos, and I ranged in ages from 4 years of age up to the age of 19. That gives us a really broad spectrum of who might be able to succeed at this program. And in that mix, I looked at the parents. I said, who would be motivated to come and really help their child be successful in this kind of a program? And I can't say enough about the parents, and I'll talk a little more about that later. But anyway, so we have children who have autism, children who have sensory defensiveness, a child that has cerebral palsy, a child that's had a stroke. It was a really wide mix of individuals in both strengths and abilities. So it wasn't easy, but I think you'll be very surprised today to see the overwhelming success that we've had in a very short period of time. Thank you, Sanford.
So I think, Christy, one of the questions that arose amongst yourself, Lexi, Barbara, Olga, and myself was really, why bother with a little group of kids taking dance lessons? I mean, why? It's just, there's so many things going on in the world. Why 6? And I think to look into that question a little bit, as we did, let's just ask for a show of hands here in our group. How many people of you here have special needs kids in your family? Can I see a show of hands? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, you might think that's just because it's a special group. But I've been out and about, and I've asked questions, and you get quite a show of hands. So this group of 6 kids that you see today is representative of a very important thing that's in our community, something that needs help, okay? The other question, Christy, that we answered was why go to all this expense and effort? Did you realize Christy comes in here on Sundays, her day off, every Sunday? So you understand, Alexi flies from New York to Everett to teach these classes, and she gives up part of her day off on Sunday to be here. Now, why do all of this? Because maybe they take lessons for a few years, and then they forget it all. Maybe it's not worth it. You have something to say?
I do. It's not about just the dance. It's about all of the things that happen around the dance. And I don't want to embarrass parents, but, you know, this has been so enlightening to watch the parents see their child in a different, from a different perspective, to watch the accomplishments. It's not just about learning the cha-cha-cha, because frankly I haven't learned it yet on all my Sundays, but it's about the confidence.
But you're getting there, Christy.
I'm getting there. I really think I need one-on-one with Alexi. But anyway, it is about the confidence that they get. It's about the friendships that they have developed. It's about seeing the smiles on their faces. I leave here on Sunday and I think, oh my gosh, you know, it was so hard for me to come here because I have a ton of things to do. But I leave this session on Sunday with my heart so filled with warmth and pride in not just the kids, but also in the parents. So it is not just about dance. It's about all of the things that these kids deserve and are having the opportunity to develop in.
Thank you, Christy. Christy knows that, thank you, Christy. You can go back and help, okay? I thought it might interest all of you to know that dance lessons for special needs kids didn't just begin yesterday. If you Google this subject, as I did, you'll find it began in about the 1930s, 1940s. Well, I can tell you in Everett, it began in the 1950s. And it began when my mother, who taught Dorothy Jayne that you see out there, when my mother was teaching dance lessons in her basement, much to my father's dismay, dance lessons in the basement. Were you part of that? You didn't take dance lessons, did you? So anyway, one of our neighbors had a special problem. And she's here to tell you about that problem. And she's here to tell you that, in fact, after a few years of dance lessons, you don't forget the lessons, and the significance of these lessons is with you for a lifetime.
My name is Mary Westcott Savella, and I was Sanford's neighbor in the 1950s, and his mother really was a wonderful, wonderful teacher. I just wish you had all had a chance to know her. She started Debbie's husband, Bob, and I at Cornish School in 1950, and we were taking lessons. Then I developed polio, and it was a very large epidemic here in Everett in 1951, and I didn't really think that I was going to walk again, but I did, and I didn't think I was going to be able to dance again, but Dorothy insisted. In fact, if you had been in the neighborhood at that time, you would have been dancing too. Everyone in the neighborhood, whether they wanted to or not, was going to become a dancer. And she was a very great teacher. And she worked with me through all kinds of activities and exercises that really stay with me till today. I don't look like a dancer, obviously, but but I do feel that just being able to know the foundation exercises and work with them, very similar to physical therapy that you have as you age. You know, they have many exercises, strengthening exercises and so forth, that are similar to dance. So I applaud you all for bringing your children here and for supporting this program, because it's a wonderful thing to think that Olga directing this program, Christy administering it, and Alexi teaching it is quite a gift to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Mary is limping a little now, but the polio that she had was much more major than she was letting on. She was in an iron lung for 2 days. Mm-hmm. And so it was a very, very severe episode.
Well, but people come back from it. They do. I did forget to mention that Sanford learned from the master because he used to play the piano for our...
That's enough, Mary. Thank you. All right, you can take your seat now. So I think it's helpful for our cause to know that the name out in front of the studio, Dorothy Jayne, relates to special needs children and a program like this. I would now like to move ahead to our demonstration that's coming up. I'd like to have Olga tell you a little bit about Alexei Gavrilov. Alexei is a very special guy, and without him, of course, we could never have done this. So Olga, tell us a little bit about Alexei. And maybe before she grabs the microphone here, I'd like to remind you about my wife, Olga. She was 2 times U.S. ballroom champion. She's international ballroom champion. She's currently the most sought-after coach in ballroom dancing, American style, in the United States. And she's never home. She's always in Los Angeles, or San Francisco, or Florida, or New York, I'll get into that, or Moscow, or Israel. She's been to Israel several times. So she is truly the top coach in American style in the United States. And she knows ballroom, and she knows ballroom dancers. And it's through her connections that we have Alexei. And to extend this concept of the power of one, the power of one girl wanting to dance, bringing us all together today. It was our family friend, Nancy Morgan, who's not with us today. She's home. I couldn't get her here today. But it's through Nancy that I met Olga. No Olga, no studio, no Jocelyn, no special needs program. Power of one, okay?
Before I introduce Alexei, I want to just continue with Mary. She said she'll remember her dance lessons up today. I hope she will look for the future and remember the dancing until the end of her life. So I think she needs to start to dance. What do you think? Good. So now we'll probably soon start to establish some program for adult. And I think you can be first student. Okay, and now it's time to introduce a special guy who come from my same city, like neighbors. So I'm come from Chelyabinsk, Ural area, and Alexei is come from Chelyabinsk as well. And he come from the same club when I was growing. I was dancing together with a few friends, and I moved to United States. And this guy, my friends, started to have a club, and Alexei come from that club. So we kind of have connection. So when we talk about special needs kids, like probably as we open the studio, I always have a thought we should have lessons or classes. I have like big portfolio with the different magazines and events which happen all over the country, like wheelchair competitions. And I always thought maybe I'll have a person who can help me at the studio, who can build up and continue with the program. Fortunately, I'm traveling, so I didn't have a chance to do that myself. So I'm glad Sanford, who is not as busy as I am, was traveling, so he tried to help you. And Alexei is a guy who you can trust, the guy who you can believe, the guy who can follow up, the guy who you want to look for it. So I think that's the guy who has very creative mind, very open mind, very, very willing mind. So this is why he's coming every week to help to build up this program and work with your kids. So he's a special guy. He, of course, had a great education. He finished same college as I am, choreography college. But he's very talented to what he's doing. So this way we don't want to lose him. We try to bring him from New York or wherever he's going to be. And hopefully maybe someday he'll decide to move here. Okay, Alexei Gavrilin.
All right, let's bring all the kids out here. Here they come. Now, the reason I asked them to do this for this workshop is because when I watch their classes, this is what they do. They choo-choo out onto the dance floor, the kids and the parents, Christy, Alexei. I thought you might like to just kind of get a little window into what happens here. Pardon me? So the kids are going to go over here and have a seat with their parents. And we have this whole thing worked out for you. And we have Serena, who's redirecting the compass here. Okay. So anyway, Alexei, welcome. We welcome all the kids. Maybe a round of applause for everybody. Okay. And over here, who silently sat down by himself, is Teddy from New York, Dancing with the Stars. And we're going to hear from him a little bit later. Okay? So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Christy and Alexei, and they can kind of show you what's going on around here.
So, as I said earlier, the kids are fantastic. But I also think that we need to at least recognize the parents. And so if Gannett will come up here. Gannett, come on up. And is Isaac here today? No. And so this is Selena's mom, and she has been receiving services at the Children's Center for a couple years now. She sees Eileen Grimes, which I think you met earlier. And Eileen, would you like to come up and say a few words about your experience with Selena? Dancing has been phenomenal for Selena, and I'll have Gannett say a few words about that.
Good afternoon. My name is Gannett Asfaha, and I'm a mother of Selena Abraham. Selena is enjoying the dance. Since she started dancing, she stated that she's getting stronger and her balance is getting better. And her favorite dance is cha-cha. And especially with the spacer, she feels confident to move without being around other people. So I hope this dance will continue and Selena will get stronger. Thank you so much.
Well, during therapy, we do some measures. And so back at the end of January, we took some measures of Selena walking in some parallel bars. And I think for one length of the parallel bars, which is probably around 20, maybe 15 feet, it took her about 53 seconds. And about 2 weeks ago, we took the same measures, and she was down to 11 seconds for the same exact distance. And I will say some kids do need more equipment, like this pacer. I asked Selena what she liked best about this pacer, and she said she could move without stepping on anyone's feet. So thank you, Gannett, and thank you, Christy, for having feet in the way, and now she can do without, so that's great.
And so now we're going to do the waltz with Alexei and Selena. Thank you, Selena. As always, you were beautiful. And then our next dancer is going to be Bree. And I'd like Brenda and Ben to come up, even though they're taking pictures. Come on up, Brenda. Bree has, boy, I can't even begin to tell you what's happened with Bree in the last few months. Bree has always been at the Children's Center, and I have to say she has never smiled at me. She doesn't acknowledge me because usually I make her do stuff at camp that she doesn't like to do. Right, Bree? She's not even going to face me. But I have to say, I have seen more smiles coming from Brianna since she started this dance. And I give a lot of credit to her parents because they come every single Sunday. They're helping her. They practice at home. And I've seen a huge growth in Bree in the last few months. So, okay, you guys took, which one's going to talk? Ben, go for it.
So, my name is Ben. What has this done for our daughter? And I think the most obvious one is the fact that during the past several days, it has expanded the scope of her bragging right. She used to claim that she is a runner and a swimmer, but now she keeps on saying that she is not only a swimmer and a runner, but also a dancer. And the most important thing, though, as far as I'm concerned, is that outside the family group, this type of activities is bringing a sense of camaraderie, belongingness to children with special needs. And on that note, I'd like to express my and my wife's Brenda's gratitude to Dr. Wright and Mrs. Wright, and to the Oli Dance Studio, to Alexi, who's done an extremely good job, to the parents, and to the inspiration of this all, Jocelyn and her mom, Barbara. And least but not the least, to the parents. Thank you very much.
Okay, so what are we going to dance? So Bree is really good at the waltz, and so let's watch her do her special dance. Okay, and we have our, I know it hurts our ears. We have Cece, and isn't she beautiful in her little dress? Come on, Mom. Hi, hon. This has been a great experience. She's obviously one of our younger ones and also one of our smallest ones. And the first week, I wish we could show you the videos. The first week wasn't so good. And it was really, I questioned whether or not we made the right choice. And now, after the 5 months that we've been doing this, she pays such great attention to Alexi, which I didn't think we would ever see that focus. And she's excited, she's jumping all the time, but she also absolutely is adorable when she is focused. So I am going to ask you to keep your cell phones in your pockets for this dance. We're going to dance because that's really what she wants to do. And so our next dancer is Candace, and if Sue and Kevin will come up with me. And Candace is a very special young lady with us. She was a preemie in our NICU. I got to meet Candace when she was 1 day old. 2 weeks. Oh, 2 weeks. So blew my story. 2 weeks old. She was really, really, really tiny. And she has received services at the Children's Center. She's been just about with every clinician we have at the Children's Center. And I am so proud of her. She is just beautiful at dancing. And I'll let Sue or Kevin tell you a little bit about her.
Hi, it was 2 weeks because she was born at the UW. You met her a day after she got to Prov. Like she said, our little girl was born at 2 pounds, premature, and has grown to a beautiful 10-year-old girl. She loves to come to dance because she gets to do what other children do, and because she learns a lot from Lexi. She's what she tells us. And she just loves to dance with the other kids and with the teacher. So that's my little girl, all in a nutshell. She loves doing sports. She's in soccer, and she's in track and field, and she does yoga at Prov. So we just keep her going.
What dance are we doing, Lexi? We're doing waltz, because she's such a beautiful young lady. Thank you, Candace. So our next little guy, he was kind of my dark horse. I wasn't sure I should have picked Tristan, but Benny and Elaine will come up with me. I wasn't sure if he would really get anything out of dance, and I have to say, wow, has he been fantastic. He started, I first met him when he was 3 years old. Oh, yes, we did. And we had a rock and roll summer, and he has just done great stuff. Diane is his speech and language pathologist, and she's here to watch him dance. And which one are you going to talk?
Hi, my name's Elaine, and this is so good for Tristan. It's helping with his speech, his social skills. He loves coming to dance, and he adores Alexei. And we just can't say enough about this program. Thank you.
Okay, now this one is a really tough one that he's going to dance. I can't do it, so watch him perform this dance. And then I think you've all already met Jocelyn because she was on that video. And Barbara is here, and I think you met Barbara as well. Barbara said back there, do I have to talk again? Because they just saw me on the video, but I'm going to make her talk again. Jocelyn has just done so many wonderful things, and I'd like Eileen to come back up again and talk a minute about Jocelyn with Mom's permission. Eileen was the therapist for Jocelyn, and I'll let her tell you what happened.
Well, I know when Jocelyn would love to come to therapy, I do believe, but once we get started, now let's back up a second. the joke was my therapy was boot camp. So we worked hard, but so when Jocelyn would come in, she would work hard, but then as it got harder, her motivation waned a little bit more and more and more. But I was present back in December at the Christmas Spectacular, and I have to say, when I watched her dance, I was drawn to tears because I know the amount of work that she had to do, the dedication that Jocelyn, that Alexi, that Barbara, all of them had to put in to be able to perform that as well and to stay focused and to make the steps the way she did. And I have to say, just watching her practice today, I think her dancing is actually even better today than it was in that video. So very, very impressive. And I mean, how motivated can a kid get but to get to dance?
Thank you, Eileen. And then Barbara, a few words.
I'd like to start by saying thank you to my mom, my stepdad, Jesse, and Olga, Dr. Wright, and you, and of course, Alexi. My daughter loves coming to dance and considers all the kids here like family, and the studio, she just considers everybody family and can't wait to get here. She's lifting her leg more, practicing balancing. Just a month ago, started straightening this arm out, even though 2 months ago we were told by a doctor it wouldn't happen anymore. She's showing you. And she's starting to bend her fingers on that hand, and it's just miraculous. And Alexi is amazing with every single one of these kids, and I just am so thankful to all of you in so many ways for making this happen.
Thank you, Barbara. Now let's watch Jocelyn, because I think you're going to see a different dance. We got to do a few high fives. And I think I will just at this point say the kids all, if you watched their faces, the determination, the focus, this is hard work for them, and yet, wow, what a success. So couldn't do it without Alexi, couldn't do it without the studio, couldn't do it without Olga, couldn't do it without all of the funding, but I am going to go help them get off. So Dr. Wright, are you going to take this over?
So, Alexi, what are you doing here? Well, you had a chance to see them dance individually, and I think what's being prepared here, is going to be a special group dance when the group gets organized. Yeah. Do any of you here have an idea how you might put these steps together? Deb? What would you do with all these talented kids here? What would you do to come up with a dance? Any ideas? Anybody? If you're a choreographer for Day, how would you put these kids together? Well, Alexi's going to show you what he did with these children. Alexi? What do you think, everybody? Alexei, before you leave, I think we need more applause, for one thing. A lot more applause. And we need to get, maybe if the kids could just sit down one moment, just one moment. Just for a moment, yeah. What'd you think? How'd they do? We have a special guest with us here from New York. I mentioned his name, Teddy, who I'd like to have join me here. Teddy will tell you his background in dancing and performing. But I just want you to know that Alexei teaches dancing in the studio that he manages in New York. It's called Dance With Me. And Teddy was with Dancing with the Stars for several years. And I want you to know that he flew from New York to Everett just to be with us for this workshop. In a few hours, he'll get on a plane and fly back to New York. He came out only for us. So I think it's important to hear a few words from Teddy about our program. Teddy.
Thank you very much again. One more time, a round of applause for the children. Sanford, thank you again for having me. Olga and everybody. When Alexei asked me to speak, I was completely humbled and oh, better? Can everyone see me now? Again, Alexei asked me to speak, and I asked him, what should I speak about? And he goes, tell them about your experience with dancing. What has dance done for you? So I started dancing when I was 11 at a social dance studio, much like this one on Long Island. I started because my sister started, so I guess you could technically say I followed in her footsteps. And I really just got tired of going to the arcade next door. And a few months later, we went to our first competition where my sister saw a dancer, an adult competitor who must have been 21 years old, and she was just mesmerized by him. And she told my mother, if we're going to take this seriously, I want to coach like that. My mom then spends the next 2 months looking frantically through the tri-state area for this Max Chmerkovsky that can't be found anywhere. Finally, we find him in New Jersey, and she starts taking us once a week. Once a week quickly becomes twice a week, and before I know it, we're driving about an hour and a half on Monday nights, Wednesday nights, Friday nights, staying over, and Saturday mornings just to practice. I went from being a chubby, uncoordinated 6th grader, picked last in sports, to the 7th grader who's a competitive Latin dancer, who's never in class because he's always traveling. And dance gave me everything. It taught me discipline. It challenged me artistically. It taught me to respect the opposite sex as well as challenge myself physically. It brought me everywhere. I had a chance to travel all over America, travel all over the world, compete at world-famous competitions, including the UK, the International. I had a chance to dance at the Winter Garden Theatre at Blackpool to the Empress Orchestra, and that for me was, again, above and beyond everything. And on top of that, I also had a chance to perform. I've performed at benefits and fundraisers, even a hotel opening in New York, Las Vegas, and Macau. And trust me, at 18 years old, a handshake and a compliment from industry titans like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett does great for your ego. But I continued dancing throughout college, and I made it to my last semester of New York University. I made it to spring break, and I got the call to be on Dancing with the Stars. So the question in my house was, graduate college, national television. Graduate college, national television. My mom would have to understand, and she did. But to perform in front of an audience, an intimate audience like this one for a dancer is incredibly rewarding. To perform on a stage in front of a few hundred people is more than memorable. You ask anybody, but to dance on that set in front of 500, 600, 700 people and know when that little red light points in your direction, 20 million people are watching you. That's more than I could have ever asked for when I walked into that studio at 11 years old. Dance literally gave me everything. And once I finished on Dancing with the Stars, I went back to school, finished, and found myself exactly where I started, in a social dance studio, except now I'm in different shoes. I'm managing the place now. And as in 2005, my mother and Max's father opened up the first dance with me. In 2007, we opened up our second, 2009 the third, and last year we opened up our fourth studio. And we're growing slowly, but for me, the most rewarding thing hasn't been what dance has been giving me. It's being able to give back, to spread my love of dancing with others and see that passion ignite in others. And last year, I had the pleasure of meeting this extraordinary professional as he began working for our studio. And ask any one of his students, he's incredible. He teaches upwards of 30, 40 lessons a week and always to the highest quality. But for whatever reason, I never understood why on Monday mornings during our meeting, he'd always be sleeping. And, you know, at a certain point, it got to me because, you know, I prepare for these meetings. And I came up to him and I'm like, look, am I really that boring? Should I change what I'm talking about? Help me. And he goes, no, it's just that I just flew back from Seattle. Actually, I've been flying back and forth every single weekend since I started working. And I asked him why. And then he showed me a video of the children that he was working with, and I was completely blown away. On top of what he's every single weekend. And so I asked him why these kids, you know, why Seattle? Dance With Me has worked with many local organizations with special needs children, and I said, why these kids? And he told me that Seattle was his first home in America. This is the first place that took him in, and he wanted to give something back. And, you know, with individuals like Alexei, so not just passionate about teaching, not just passionate about dancing, but passionate about dance and academia and its therapeutic aspects, I'm confident that the dance industry has a very bright future, as well as the special needs children that people like him will work with. So thank you again for having me, and great job, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Before the kids choo-choo back to the other part of the studio, we have something special. What do we have?
We have a little presents from Ola's dance studio.
Okay. Okay, I see we have some presents. You'll notice that Alexei was assisted here by Konstantin. Konstantin has been also a part of this program. He's a very wonderful competitive dancer and teacher. He was a partner of Olga's in the past. And when Alexei can't get out here from New York, Konstantin teaches the class, and we're very grateful for that. Very grateful. Thank you, Konstantin. Any other comments? Alexei? No? You've done it. Okay. We were going to have the kids choo-choo back there to finish up our program. But you know, Alexei, maybe we should just let them stay there while we finish. We don't have that much more to say. I think the next thing we should do is to change our agenda a little bit and to have our audience ask questions, and if they have any questions that have arisen, of Alexei, Christy, Teddy, Mary, and Olga. Does anybody here have questions about the special needs dance lessons here at the Dorothy Jayne studio? Any questions? I see a question. Could you come forward, please? Come on here. I can't see you there. You're in the shadows. Now, your child is? Right over there. Brianna, your question.
My question is, where do we go from here?
That's a good question. I have an answer. Do we have an answer? Come on. I can't see you standing way over there. I have an answer. You mean this isn't the end?
Well, I would like to see all parents and kids dance this dance with Alexei in front.
Christy, could you answer his question? I think he was implying something. Could you answer?
I think he was.
I think so.
So, you know, he's kind of pushy sometimes. So I think that has been a question in lots of people's minds, and you know, we know that this doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen without effort. It doesn't happen without funding. It doesn't happen just because we want it to happen. But I have been assured that we're going to continue these dance lessons. If you guys in the audience think that this was worth the effort that's gone into it. So, okay. What do you think? So are we going to continue?
I'm sorry?
Are we going to continue?
Well, let's take a vote. How many think we should continue? Are there any that feel we should not continue? There's your answer. That's the answer to your question. We will continue. Any other questions? Questions? Anybody questions? Alexei, if you're awake, maybe you can answer the question.
Sorry. He asked.
Oh.
What have you learned
about these kids? Oh, honestly, I'm still learning from them, because when I start, I was like, you just don't know. I didn't find the picture from the first lesson. Yeah, I didn't find the picture from the first lesson, but it was, I don't know, it was so different, and I was stuck. I was like, what I can do? I didn't know where I can move, and I didn't see the future. But we start, and you can see like little results from this. But I think eventually it will be bigger. And maybe eventually we'll take them to New York. Yeah, and on Broadway show, we'll see, okay? Probably we'll make some show based on the kids' parents, okay? Maybe we'll start in Everett. We'll make a big show here, and then we'll go to New York. Yeah, and what else? Maybe, I don't like to speak. It's better for me to dance. Maybe I can dance with Jassy, okay? And you will see, okay, our future.
What are you doing? You're going to do cha-cha? Oh, okay. You can talk with your feet. Okay. Okay. So Alexi and Jocelyn, thank you very much. This reminds me, Alexi, that we have some special news about Jocelyn. Something special is coming up, and I'd like to have her mother come out here and tell us what that is. And we must always remember, we're all here today because she wanted to dance. Okay?
We were just informed recently that we were asked to be on Good Morning America in August to tell her story and how she is the way she is now and what dance is doing for her and everything else. And we're very excited.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. Yes.
Finally. Okay, and I want to say thank you for everybody for coming here, for parents, for kids, because if I didn't have this chance to teach them, I didn't have this experience. And it's a great experience for me. Thank you, Sanford. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Christine, for helping me. And thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, Kostya. Thank you, Ksenia, because they helped a lot when I was gone. And thank you again, kids and parents. Give me 5. Tristan? Tristan. Give me 5. Candice? Sissy? Yeah, Bree? And Celine. Thank you. Thank you, parents.
In closing, I'd like to follow on the question of Bree's father. Where do we go from here? Well, where do we go from here in part depends on fundraising. Currently, this program is being supported by the Dorothy Jayne Foundation. But replenishing the Dorothy Jayne Foundation, of course, will be an important thing to do. With the help of John McCoy, 38th Legislative District, first position according to his daughter, a letter has already been written by John to our Mayor, Ray Stephenson, with the idea that Ray Stephenson, the mayor of Everett, should challenge the mayor of Seattle to a VIP dance competition right here in this floor, right here, September 21, this fall. And the deal is the Everett Fire Department challenges the Seattle Fire Department to a Dancing with the Stars type event here. Now, of course, firemen are very temperamental, emotional people, and we would not ever want things to get out of control because the crowd will be sitting around the dance floor. So the mayor had a solution for that, and it was suggested by John as well, and that is we will have the Everett Police Department here with dark glasses, all women, guarding and securing the floor. And so that we have a fundraiser, and we hope that you'll spread the word about that fundraiser. Another thing we're going to be doing to raise funding is to create a calendar, a very special, very sensitive, very beautiful calendar with the firemen and others and the kids. And we'll begin at Camp Prov. When is Camp Prov? July 8th. So we're going to have pictures taken there. We're going to have the fundraiser. We're going to have more pictures. The kids that you've seen here. We'll go down to the Autumn Dance Classic in San Francisco, the Hyatt Regency Hotel, in October, the month after the VIP fundraiser. And they will perform there. More pictures. And we were going to create a beautiful calendar, more beautiful than some of the other firemen calendars that you've seen. And we're going to be selling them all over, everywhere. And remember, the Master of Ceremonies of the Christmas Spectacular, Brian Tracy, has Ride the Ducks of Seattle, and he's going to help us with this. So we hope to have a successful fundraiser to keep things going. And I think that's about it. I think we've had a question and answer session. We thank you all for coming. Hope you've had a good time. Thank you. We have refreshments that have arrived over there, sandwiches, juices, that sort of thing. So stay, talk with each other, share ideas. We can use all the support that you might suggest. Thank you very much.